Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Republicans have unveiled a revised health care bill in the United States Senate. Debate on the legislation is expected within days, and President Trump says he is waiting with pen in hand to sign the bill into law. What changes have been made, and will they be enough to gain Senate approval? Gary Lane is trying to answer that question. Take a look.
Some key Republicans rejected the original Senate bill, meaning it would not gain approval without revisions. So it was back to the drawing board with a new health care plan. The revised Senate bill now provides billions of dollars in government subsidies to tackle the national opioid epidemic. And it allows cheaper plans that include reduced benefits. Critics argue Obamacare forced some people to pay for services they don't need, like pregnancy expenses for senior citizens or geriatric care for millennials. That change alone could bring down costs for some Americans. The measure was pushed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz, so will he now support the bill?
Yes.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell now says he expects a vote on the new health care bill sometime next week. That one Democrat is expected to cast a vote in favor of it.
The meat of this bill is exactly the same as it was before, and in some ways, they've somehow managed to make it even worse.
The support of moderate GOP senators like Susan Collins will be essential if Republicans are to get the votes needed for approval. But she's ready to vote against the revised plan because Medicaid spending won't grow as quickly as planned.
We're talking about the health infrastructure in rural America and some of our most vulnerable citizens.
President Trump, in his 700 Club interview this week with Pat Robertson, made it clear he'll be upset if Republicans don't act to repeal and replace Obamacare.
It has to get passed. They have to do it. They have to get together and get it done.
What'll happen if they don't?
Well, I don't even want to talk about it because I think it would be very bad. I will be very angry about it, and a lot of people will be very upset, but I'm sitting waiting for that bill to come to my desk. I hope that they do it. They've been promising it for years. They've been promising it ever since Obamacare, which has failed.
Even Vice President Pence weighed in, pressing Senate Republicans to meet up to their campaign commitments.
We urge every member of the United States Senate to roll their sleeves up and get this bill to the president's desk and get it there soon.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
A federal judge in Hawaii is weakening President Trump's travel ban. Under the president's revised order, people coming from Sudan, Somalia, Libya, Iran, and Yemen were required to have immediate family members living in the United States. Now that list has been broadened to include extended family members such as grandparents, grandchildren, aunts, and uncles. Faith-based pregnancy centers in Hawaii are fighting a new law. The measure forces providers to tell patients about free state-funded abortions during visits. Centers that refuse could face fines of up to $1,000. The Alliance Defending Freedom represents 2 of the 5 pro-life centers fighting the ruling. They filed a lawsuit over the new law, which could go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Illinois passed a similar law earlier this year. California has had one on their books since 2015. The Israeli Arab terrorists murdered 2 policemen during a terror attack in Jerusalem's Old City early Friday morning. After the attack, a police unit chased the terrorists and killed them during a shootout on the Temple Mount. Officials say 3 attackers came from an Arab town in northern Israel. Israeli President weighed in on the attack, saying, "We cannot allow for agents of murder who desecrate the name of God to drag us into a bloody war." He added it's time for the Arab leadership in Israel and even outside of it to express a clear position against this criminal attack. This week, the Senate came one step closer to passing legislation that defunds the Palestinian government until it stops martyr payments. Abigail Robertson brings us more on this story.
It's bad enough for a parent to hear about the death of a child. It's even worse to learn the person who killed him was praised and rewarded by a government largely funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars. That happened to the parents of American student Taylor Force when a 21-year-old Palestinian man murdered Taylor while he was visiting Israel.
No society should reward their children for being terrorists.
U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham hopes to pressure the Palestinian Authority to stop their martyr payment policy by proposing a bill that would cut the almost $400 million in U.S. funding to the group.
We have a duty to defend our citizens and not empower people who will kill them.
Graham thinks there is no hope for a two-state solution in the Middle East if the Palestinian Authority continues to reward people for being terrorists. According to the Jerusalem Post, the PA argues the bonuses only benefit legitimate combatants, but the Israeli and U.S. governments say this is immoral.
Abbas said the following, the president of the Palestinian Authority: "I will leave office before I stop martyr payments and before I stop paying money to prisoners." How do you do peace with a government who would actually take money and pay their children to kill other people's children?
The Senate committee reviewing the bill mostly agree this needs to end, but worry about unintended consequences to Israel's security if all funding is cut off. Many want to see changes added to ensure humanitarian aid is not affected and that this would not lead to the collapse of the PA.
We're going to keep that aid flowing with one condition. The Secretary of State has to certify that the Palestinian government is changing their behavior. If he can't do that, we'll cut that money off.
Graham says he's confident that after revisions are made to the bill, the Senate will see a vote on it this year with overwhelming support. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
The British hospital treating Charlie Gard, the baby with a rare disease, says his parents do not have the right to be the sole decision makers for their son's fate. In a submission to the High Court on Thursday, hospital attorney Katie Gollop said the hospital holds a very different view on treatment decisions. Gard parents had another breakdown in court after the judge insisted there must be, quote, new and powerful evidence that the baby is not suffering. So far, he has ruled the parents may not travel elsewhere for treatment for their son and has authorized the hospital to take the baby off of life support. Ahead here on CBN NewsWatch, it's a real-life fairy tale romance story, but it's taken nearly 50 years for one woman to find true love. Hear her story when we return. Summer is the time for weddings in America. It is time when couples exchange vows and commit their lives to each other. And one Florida woman says she waited a long time to find that true love. So long, in fact, the wait that came with her 50th birthday in sight, she began to doubt that it would ever happen. Wendy Griffith brings us her story from the Sunshine State.
Cherie Martin grew up playing on the white sandy beaches near Pensacola, Florida. The daughter of a pastor, Cherie had faith that one day her prince would come.
As I got into my 20s and friend after friend after friend, they were all getting married, and my heart would just sink because I really didn't date that much. So I was a little bit of a late bloomer, but still, time's passing, and you begin to feel like God's passing you by.
Cherie believed God had promised her she would be married, so she continued to hope and to date. But time after time, the relationships would fizzle.
And I would just pray, God, please don't let me be desperate. Please don't let me be desperate. And so I just kept waiting, and I kept seeking God. There's a verse in Isaiah that talks about, no more will you be termed forsaken, but your land will be married. And I would cling to verses like that.
By now, Cherie was in her late 40s with no prospects in sight when some friends invited her to a wedding and to meet a surfer named Ben.
And right in the center of the lobby, all by himself, is this gorgeous man in a tuxedo, just standing there. And I'm just, surely this has to be him. Surely this is the guy my friend told me about. So I'm like, hello, ran in and found her, and I said, please tell me that's him. And she's like, it is.
The next day, Ben and Cherie saw each other again at church.
And as soon as church is over, this gorgeous guy walks up and says, hi, my name's Ben Martin. So obviously I had caught his eye as well.
Was it love at first sight?
I was definitely attracted to Cherie. And I guess what she's trying to say is, I was still kind of torn where I was.
What Cherie didn't know was Ben had gone through a painful divorce and was still hurting. What Ben, a surfer and lover of the ocean, didn't know was that Cherie was afraid of the water.
I like to tan, he likes to surf. It works.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Ben and Cherie, and the two broke up for several months.
I come from a divorced family, and I never wanted that to be a part of my life. So I really had to let go of there ever being hope of restoration of the first marriage.
Then I said, now look, it has to be me and no one else. I can't play second fiddle. I have to know I have your whole heart. And he said, you're the one. He said, you're the one I want to be with. So for someone to finally say, I am choosing you, it was just like...
Then, in the summer of 2012, after nearly 2 years of dating on and off, Cherie was preparing to celebrate her 50th birthday.
We had not looked at rings. We had not talked about marriage, nothing. And so, but I just kept thinking, wow, it's a big day. And he was asking me what I wanted to do. And I was like, a walk on the beach at sunset. Oh, we had never done that as a couple. We come through the dunes onto the beach. There's a wedding taking place on this side of the beach, and there's a wedding taking place on this side of the beach. No joke. And he looks at me and he says, have you ever thought about a wedding on the beach?
It was there, in the sand dunes on Cherie's 50th birthday, that Ben, a man 9 years younger, professed his love.
Just shared my heart that I loved her and wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. And I asked her if she would like to do the same. And she said yes, as I'm trying to shuffle the ring out of my pocket.
Cherie says the age difference didn't really seem to matter.
I don't know, the Lord just eased all that away. People always say that we don't look like there's that much of an age difference.
Cherie and Ben were engaged on June 2nd and set the wedding date for 5 months later. November 3rd, 2012 finally arrived.
But it was a beautiful, gorgeous day. And right away, it's just like, thank you, God.
So we rented a house out on the beach, and we had our families come out, and the wedding took place like right out front.
Cherie says her story is proof that when God gives you a promise, He is faithful to fulfill it, even if it takes a while.
Ask Him to give you a promise about your life, whatever that is, and then hold on to that promise because He will be faithful.
I wanted someone true, and that's what God gave me, the real deal, in Cherie. And like I said, I know my heart is safe with her. And so age is just a number. And she's beautiful. She is gorgeous, and God is good. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Pensacola, Florida.
Up next, the weekend is almost here. Still ahead, we've got your family-friendly movie reviews. Spider-Man Homecoming has raked in more than $117 million since its debut last week. It appears to be a winner with both fans and movie critics. But some, especially in the family-friendly media arena, say parts of the movie are troubling. Joining us now to weigh in on this is Movie Guide founder Dr. Ted Baer. So, Dr. Baer, what is it your team found in the film troubling?
Well, I should start out with the fact that we analyze movies. We don't do thumbs up or thumbs down. So there's a lot of good in the movie. There's a lot of parallels to the first two movies, especially the second one, where the villain is actually has a good character arc, and there's redemption. And there's his trial to help. But the bad parts of the movie is it's got much more of a snarky sort of stoop to conquer, reference to bad words, reference to taking God's name in vain in several places. But I guess the worst reference is the teacher comes in and catches Spider-Man's friend, Peter Parker's friend, working the computer. She says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm looking at pornography," which for young high school students is not something you want your kids and your family to do. I'm on the board of the National Coalition Against Sex Exploitation, and I used to be head of a department at Berkeley, and there's a lot of research on the harms of pornography, and therefore just making it normal within Spider-Man, and also using some language that also makes aberrant behavior normal is disturbing. In other words, I think what's happened is that they're trying to stoop to conquer instead of taking the high road like the first few Spider-Man, where with great power comes great responsibility. Now it's with great money at the box office, we can put in more snarky material.
Mm-hmm. How would you advise parents to talk to their children about a scene like the one you described?
Exactly the way I said it. It's that you've got to treat women properly, men properly. You have to realize that people are not objects. You've got to realize that the whole process, there's more research now than ever on the ill effects of pornography. University of Texas in Austin has done a lot of that research. Oxford has done a lot of that research. I teach a course in that. I just was in Hungary teaching it. But used to have a couple 100,000 studies. Now you have about 1 million studies. And now many of them are just detailed brain scans showing that porn is almost as addictive as hardcore drugs like heroin. That means that if heroin is at 2,000 on the Richter scale, porn comes at 1,800. And then cocaine comes at 1,100. So for people that have a propensity, now not everybody has a propensity. It's only about 34% of the people. But people who have a propensity, and usually it's a smarter, more intelligent, more creative. It's not going to help them in their life, and especially in forming relationships.
Indeed. Dr. Ted Baehr with Movie Guide, thank you so much for your insight. It is much appreciated.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. This weekend, we've got a healthy movie review from our friends at Plugged In Online. They've got the inside scoop on War for the Planet of the Apes.
We are not savages. Apes fight only to survive.
In the movie War for the Planet of the Apes, most of mankind is gone now thanks to a deadly virus strain. Those that remain are feeling a little stressed.
The irony is we created you.
For while that engineered virus has leveled the world of man,
and nature has been punishing us ever since.
It's given an IQ boost to chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. Those primates are man's intellectual equals now, capable of riding horses, shooting guns, and creating civilizations of their own. Their leader, for instance, an ape named Caesar, is a true hero. He's a complex individual tormented by the violence and unrest between apes and humans, but the truth is, no matter how Caesar applies himself to the ape versus mankind conflicts at hand, things are bound to become explosive. For the surviving remnants of humanity are a well-armed lot, and they're not about to give up their planetary primacy without a fight. The modern Planet of the Apes movies continue to march forward to the series' starting point, the 1968 original movie featuring actor Charlton Heston. Like its predecessors, this pick has moments of warmth and self-sacrifice, and it asks questions about what it really means to be human. Of course, today's CGI special effects also result in a much more intense and realistic dose of warring violence. Add in some bad language, and I'll be giving this latest Planet of the Apes flick 3 sentient simians out of 5 for family friendliness. For an in-depth review of this film, or really anything else at your local box office, visit us at pluggedin.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
We want to end today's show with some uplifting news. Here's Talia Wise with our new segment, CBN Good News.
Ephraim, I'm sure you're familiar with NBC's hit show, America's Got Talent. Well, 27-year-old Kechi Akuchi is catching viewers by storm. She has a beautiful voice, but that's not exactly the first thing you notice about the singer.
Kechi's body is covered in scars.
I was in a plane crash when I was 16 years old back in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
It took the lives of 107 out of 109 passengers, and I was one of the 2 survivors.
Wow.
She has undergone more than 100 surgeries, including one that restored her nose. But while the physical scars remain, the emotional scars are becoming a distant memory. Kechi is an inspirational speaker, and she gives glory to God for bringing her this far. Her amazing voice adds a new chapter to the story with this unforgettable performance on America's Got Talent.
She's advanced beyond the first round of the competition, and she's inspiring even more people as that performance is being shared online. Go get him, Catchy. That's CBN Good News. Until next time, make time to spread a little bit of good news.
And now it is time for your Friday Faithful. Perhaps you are one of many people waiting for a calling to become a reality. You've heard the promise, but you are waiting in the process. So what do? Consider this. God is calling you to be faithful in the small things, those things that may seem insignificant. It is a test that He can trust you to handle greater. So commit to being faithful and make this a fabulous Friday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear from you and what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here Monday.